Chair recognizes the gentleman from Texas, Mr. Gohmert, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank the witnesses for being here. I heard testimony earlier that about 50% of those illegally here after being released without being deported commit crimes against other Americans. I know as a judge when I was considering bail or bond, that was a primary consideration, the likelihood of them returning and the public safety. I can't imagine releasing somebody on a makeable job if both sides agreed the defendant had a 50% chance of reoffending, committing a further crime if I let him go. That is just unconscionable. When we talk about the children and the women and the people across America and protection of families, my gosh, we're releasing criminals to go after them? That is outrageous. Well, and then also I hear, Sheriff, you say 30 to 50 criminals per day are being released in your county alone by CIS. That's the very people the president has called bad actors, and yet his policies are responsible for letting them go upon the families of America. Well, let me just say, I'm very concerned about the way the money is being spent. And by the way, for those that are not familiar, we had a lot of crimes being committed in the U.S. and in my state in the 80s. So America reacted, Texas reacted. We elected criminal judges, tough prosecutors, and we're reaping the benefits of people who were law enforcement minded going into the sheriff's jobs, prosecutors' jobs, judges' jobs, and we'll be able to ride that for a while before people with bleeding hearts let the criminals go, and then people eventually will have another wave while they react when the crimes go up. I know that that's just a cycle. But right now we're in a cycle of letting criminals go, and the criminal law in America is something that concerns me at the federal level because of something called the Anti-Deficiency Act. I'm not sure if the witnesses are familiar with that, but the law is very clear. If Congress appropriates money for one purpose, it's not to be used for another purpose unless proper steps are utilized. And so I know that we've heard through the news there was a facility built over in Crystal City for awarding these amnesty work permits. Some of us are wondering where that money came from. You know, we hear clamoring that they need more money, but where did that money come from? Because I know Congress certainly was not notified that they were shifting funds from one appropriated purpose to Crystal City and to awarding these 5 million or so work permits that basically amount to amnesty. Do any of the witnesses know where that money came from?
No, I think that's something that Congress should be asking, because USCIS, the agency that's responsible for issuing these benefits, has not collected a single dime in fees from any future applicants for the new Deferred Action Work Permit program. So it certainly appears that they have perhaps been hoarding money skimmed from the fees paid by legal immigrants. USCIS is funded by fees paid by legal immigrants and their sponsors for a service that they get, and these fees.
Right. Well, that gets to another problem, because we have seen reports that people, my office is helping, that came here legally as immigrants. We welcome, trying to get a spouse in. They have paid higher fees to try to expedite those, and it turns out this administration is illegally moving that money over to give priority to people that came in illegally, thus putting people that are trying to do the legal immigration process a terrible disservice by putting them at the back of the line. So I know, Ms. Vaughn, you're in the business of investigating these, and I hope you'll assist us. Professor Ting, do you have, are you familiar with the Anti-Deficiency Act and how it might be brought to bear on this situation?
I'm not.
Well, I'd encourage you as a law professor, if you would, to look at that. And also, just in finishing, Congress has the power, even after the Supreme Court decision in the Arizona case, to ask for help and appropriate money. Sheriff, would you have any problem if we block granted money from CIS to local law enforcement to get local law enforcement to help do the job that CIS is not being allowed to do?
No problem whatsoever.
That's what I thought. Thank you very much.